Welcome back to another UNC Tar Heels football recruiting podcast here on TarHeelIllustrated.com. And if you are watching us on our fast-growing YouTube channel, that is called Tar Heel Illustrated. I'm THI publisher Andrew Jones, and joining me is our director of football recruiting, Miss Deana King. Big news for North Carolina. The commits continue to roll. It's like a freight train through Chapel Hill, and dudes are hopping on in droves heading to North Carolina to play football for Mack Brown and the Tar Heels. Before we dive into this commitment very quickly, just a reminder, guys, I took this job. I started August 1st, 2014. It was $8.33 a month for premium content, advanced knowledge of the kind of stuff we're going to talk about today. And the price is still $8.33 a month. Everything else is going crazy with prices. We're about to hit a recession again. We've got stuff like gas is $5 a gallon, mayonnaise is $5. All these things are so much more expensive now than they were just a couple of years ago. We're the same price, and we have no plans on raising our price. So go ahead and sign up, just $8.33 a month. Go over to TarHeelIllustrated.com, and you have access to all of our premium stuff, tons and tons and tons of recruiting. And the message boards on our site are unbelievable. They're respectful. People are very knowledgeable. It's a lot of fun. It's not a bunch of mudslinging like you see a lot of places. We don't have that. We don't tolerate that. So it's just $8.33 a month. You can be a Carolina Tar Heel insider too. Deana, DJ Geth, Dorman High School, Roebuck, South Carolina, 3-star class of 2023 offensive lineman, the son of former UNC basketball player Ed Geth, a scholarship member of the 1993 national championship team. He is 6'4", 290 pounds, and he has pledged his commitment to play for Jack Bicknell, Mack Brown, Phil Longo, and the Tar Heels. Your thoughts?
He is a kid that has really exploded. Several kids that Carolina has started in the recruiting process, and we're seeing them making decisions. He had a really good rivals camp. Saw him down there at Nations Forward, and he's built like a Mack truck. I will say that. He looks. I mean, his dad was a pretty big guy when he was at Carolina, so he gets it. He gets that from his dad, Ed, and everything, that size and power and everything. But a really good, nice pickup because, he was brought up in a Carolina family with both parents going to Carolina. But a pretty big get to get him out of South Carolina, because we know what kind of job Beamer is doing, Shane Beamer is doing in South Carolina, trying to build that program back up, and coming off that big Duke Mayo win over North Carolina. So it was a pretty big pickup for UNC.
He's a 3-star prospect. He's a 5.5 rating. So a lot of people are going to look at that. They're going to go, whoa, what's the deal here? But if you talk to some people in the know, they will tell you this is like buying a stock when it's new, before it explodes. I guess someone said one time, it's like the example they use. It's like buying America Online in late 1992 or something like that, and that exploded and split a bunch of times. By the way, he chose Carolina over South Carolina. Also offered Louisville, LSU, South Florida, a lot of mid-level type offers on the list, but there was a lot more interest starting to come from bigger programs. You would figure perhaps other offers would come down the road. And he's the number 22 overall prospect in South Carolina, but expect that number to change here in the next couple of months. So when you look at his film and you've seen him in person, he's recruited. I guess some people say he's an offensive tackle, but they like big guards, like road grader type guards. I kind of look at him as possibly, because he's got athletic genes. His dad was a major college basketball player, and DJ has played basketball in the past. I kind of think that there's a chance he ends up as a guard. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you look at some of the kids on roster now at UNC, and then they got Nolan McConnell, who's a tackle. They still have some more offensive line targets that they're pursuing. But Geth, he looks like a guard. I mean, you put him in the middle of some of those guards that Carolina has, and he looks a lot like their guys out on the roster. So yeah, I could see him playing. And Big Nail likes guys that can be versatile. And so you never know until a kid gets down there. Maybe DJ can be one of those guys that they can move from guard to tackle and stuff. So I like the pickup. I mean, anytime you can get a legacy kid, that's a big plus. Knows that they really want to be at UNC.
Let me go another step further as we look ahead to where he could end up. I think this is also a kid that could get a shot, get a little work at center to see how that goes.
Well, anything's possible. I mean, with Coach Big Nail, that issue may start to develop, with, they have three guys with Corey Gaynor,
Anderson and Kieran Johnson, who are all going to be gone. They're all 6-year guys.
Yeah, and they're going to need some. They're going to need some centers. So that could be a
lot of big time, and a lot of big time centers start out somewhere else. So when I look at him and I look at his body type, and there's a lot of smarts there too, because when you talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of the things that really check boxes for Carolina that he told you about, he talked, family atmosphere, the kids, the facilities. That's all. Everyone's got good facilities, but he really focused on a lot. The academics was one thing, but also the conversation he had with Daryl Moody, I thought was really interesting that he picked. He really wanted to emphasize that. For those that don't know, Daryl Moody has been in the game for 50 years. He was with Carolina for a long time as an assistant coach, and he spent 17, 18 years as an NFL scout. Mack brought him in, and he's an assistant to Mack, and he advises on a lot of things from recruits to getting kids information about the NFL. He's an unbelievably valuable member of the staff. And DJ really emphasized the conversation he had with Daryl Moody about a track to the NFL. And people need to understand that draft is littered with 3-stars. Look at a lot of Carolina's former players currently in the NFL, a lot of 3-stars, a couple of dudes that didn't even have a star when they played their final high school game. So there is a path, and there's a prototype for when you look at his body about the athletic ability, the flexibility, the size, and all that kind of stuff. So take us back to a little bit of the conversation you had with him about his conversation with Daryl Moody and why that was integral in him making this decision.
Like you said, I don't know how many programs have a guy like Coach Moody who has been in the NFL, being a scout and everything. And it's one of the big pluses that Carolina has is they can have a kid that if he wants to know what it takes to get to the NFL, Coach Moody can tell them exactly what they need to work on. Their strengths and weaknesses, and these kids, in talking to them, they really enjoy sitting down with Coach Moody and hearing all this. Some of it is negative, and they can work on it. They take it as it's negative there, but they take it as a positive. It's something that will make them better in the long run, and we saw that with how important that presentation that they have on visits and everything with Zach Rice. I mean, Zach, he said that was one of the top things there, going into the facility and seeing his name up on one of those big old jumbo things in the Coleman Center and seeing NFL stuff with him and everything. So
his conversation
it's an added access asset with Coach Moody being on staff. So that was one of the main things that DJ talked about after his visit and stuff.
Yeah, and those conversations aren't all utopia stuff. It's not saying, hey, come here, you're going to play first, all pro in the NFL. It's a real world view, and I think a lot of kids appreciate that, and clearly Zach did. because Zach talked a lot about the real world view of it. Like, hey, there's no guarantee. Just because you're a 5-star, it's nothing guarantee. You still need to put in the work, et cetera. And DJ certainly got some a note, a list of things that he has to work on going into his senior year in high school. DJ Geth, a 3-star offensive lineman from Dorman High School in Roebuck, South Carolina, is the most recent member of the class of 2023 to commit. It's coming in a massive wave. There were 3 on Friday. Geth is now the 13th member of the class. And before we go, quick reminder, just $8.33 a month. You can be a Carolina Tar Heel insider too. Don't forget to click like on this. Share the video. If you're a big fan of North Carolina football recruiting, share it with all your Carolina football friends and make sure they share it with their Carolina football friends, and on and on and on. She's Deana. I'm AJ. Thanks for stopping by.